So it is now my great pleasure to introduce the Cathleen Lyle Murray Award and Lectureship. I want to give you a little bit of background on this particular award. So the Cathleen Lyle Murray Foundation was established in 1975 by Margaret and Clark Murray of Kansas City. Their daughter Kathleen was born with cerebral palsy, and this really motivated a lifelong commitment to working to enhance the lives of individuals with disabilities. Now, Kathleen passed away at the age of 12 in 1962, and the Murrays became very active in the United Cerebral Palsy Association, and Mrs. Murray became their national president in 1970. She was also a member of the National Advisory Council on Developmental Disabilities and had significant impact in Washington. She was a tireless organizer and administrator for the rights and education of individuals with disability until her passing in 2001. And the Murray's son, Brian, has upheld the position as administrator of the foundation since that time, carrying on the family's strong tradition of advocacy and dedication on behalf of individuals with childhood onset disabilities. So a really significant presence in the advocacy world for individuals with disabilities. Let's give this family a round of applause. We all know how critically important advocacy is, and family-driven advocacy to bring awareness to the issues that individuals and families face, and also the power that advocacy has to make an impact for all of us that are working in the field, and particularly to motivate and bring research funds to the area. So this year's well-deserving recipient of the Cathleen Lyle Murray Award and Lectureship is Mr. Michael Bortolotto. Now let me give you a little bit of background. At the age of 16 months, Michael was diagnosed with cerebral palsy. Through an extensive routine of time-consuming exercises, he has learned to lead himself beyond the various challenges and obstacles which threatened to prevent him from walking, talking, and using his arms, hands, and fingers. Since 1989, Michael has delivered close to 3,000 presentations to audiences of all backgrounds in both Canada and the United States of America to bring awareness to issues facing individuals with disability and to promote his own positive thinking. He is a truly dynamic speaker, and I know we're in for a real treat. And I know he likes the podium, so I'm going to give you the podium. Michael.
Hello, how are you? Good afternoon. It's wonderful to be here. When I was a little boy, and we were young at one time, when I was really young, my dream was to live a very normal life, as normal as possible. I grew up in a very small logging camp. We didn't have any medical offices. The nurse had to come and visit us every 2 months. We were really isolated on a small island just off the west coast of Canada. And at the time, I did not understand that I had cerebral palsy. So my dreams they ran rampant with all kinds of ideas. What kind of ideas? Well, I wanted to drive a car, drive a truck, play football, play hockey, and I would love to have a family one day. Unfortunately, or maybe I should say fortunately, I was told but various people in my blogging community that, hey, people with cerebral palsy, they don't drive cars, they don't drive trucks, they don't play football, they don't play hockey, and they don't have families. Can I ask you a question? How many of you have ever rebelled in your lives? Who in here is a rebel? Put up your hand if you've rebelled against someone or something. Holy cow. Nobody's rebelled in here. All I have, let me give you a little idea of what rebelling is. How many of you have grown your hair a little longer than your parents wanted you to grow your hair? How many of you have snuck out late at night to go to a party somewhere? How many of you have rebelled against your husbands or your wives? How many of you drive above the speed limit? That's rebelling. Well, you know what? When you rebel, there's always a consequence. Well, I am a rebel, and I've been rebelling my entire life. But there's one thing that I've done to avoid consequences or punishments. I've chosen to become a positive rebel. What does that mean? Well, I rebel not against society or other people. I rebel against my mind's temptation to give into negative thoughts, ideas of limitations, and false conditioning. And so for the next 34 minutes, I'm going to give you 3 examples of how I've rebelled against my negative thoughts, my limitations, and false conditioning. Now, I believe the one thing that we all have tremendous control over are our thoughts. I also believe that in order to move forward, we have to be self-leaders. So, one of my favorite things to do as a speaker is I love going to speak to fire departments, firemen, fire officers, fire chiefs. I like to show them the magnitude of how a thought can lead us to where we want to go. I often talk about being a positive rebel. Well, about 3 years ago, I was at this fire department talking about what I'm talking about right now, being a positive rebel. And at the end of the speech, this fireman gets up, says, you know what? You are not correct. You can come here and talk about all this stuff, but I want to see you do it. Don't give me the talk, show me the walk. So there I am sitting there going, okay, what's he going to do? I know it's coming right at me, but what's coming at me? He says, you know what? He says, I bet you can't drive a fire truck. And my legs started shaking a little bit. I'm thinking, oh boy. And then I have this thought, rebel, rebel. So I went at the fire chief. I said, Chief, do you have insurance on all your fire trucks? He said, yes, I do. I said, let's go. And so the next thing you know, I'm sitting in a fire truck, the engine rumbling. The guy who's challenging me is right beside me. He shows me how to put it in the gear, take the air brakes off, and off we go down the road. And going down the road, he's looking at me. His eyes are getting bigger and bigger. I said, wow, this is really cool. Yeah, it is. I said, can we turn the siren on and the lights on? This is really cool. He says, we can't do that. without going to emergency. I said, well, I tell you what, we can make one right now. So I drove this fire truck down the road, around the block, up the hill. We came back to the fire station. Just put it right there. I'll back it into the bay. I said, you sit right there and watch this. I'm going to put it in the bay myself. You can't do that. The thing came, beep, beep, beep. I put it right into the bay. I jumped out of the truck. Fire chief did me a high five. He runs around the truck and says, you know what? I would have never imagined you could do that. I did it because I chose to become a self-leader of my own thoughts. And self-leadership is about progressing from where you are right now to where you want to be in the future. It's about creating effective results. See, I believe that people who are challenged need to tap in to their thoughts and the power of their thoughts and where they can lead us. Let me give you another example. I have an incredibly beautiful family, a lovely wife, a beautiful daughter, and a young boy named Quentin, who's my son. And I married my wife 5 years ago, 6 years ago, this coming September 28th, as she keeps track. I've been with Natasha and Dorothy for 9 years. I have to be honest with you. One of the most beautiful things about these 3 people, Dorothy, Natasha, and now Quentin, my son, in a roundabout way, they made me more able-bodied than anything else in the world. They've challenged me to go beyond the so-called limitations that are within my body. Let me give you an example. I've been normally during the months of July and August, I practice being a Mr. Mom, which is really cool. Last summer, my son and I were having lunch. We're watching this children's show. I think it was Mickey Mouse Clubhouse, Disneyland show. And we were eating our sandwiches, and my son looks at me and says, Dad, can I have an ice cream cone? Now, let me tell you about ice cream cones and Michael Bortolotto. We don't get along very well. And the reason why is if you put an ice cream cone in my hands, I will proceed to squeeze the living daylights out of it. It just happens. It's always happening. I don't know why. It just happens. So I'm thinking to myself, whatever you do, keep your mouth quiet, and maybe this will go away. Well, 2 minutes later, my son is a very determined, persistent young man. Dad, can I have an ice cream cone? I'm thinking, maybe it will go away. And besides, I don't want to drive to McDonald's. I don't want to go to the Dairy Queen. I just want to stay here and watch Mickey Mouse, Goofy, Minnie Mouse, and Donald Duck for a little while. Dad, ice cream cone. Son's really getting persistent. Shh. Next thing you know, right, he gets up. He goes into the kitchen, gets a box of ice cream cone shells, and comes out and goes, where did you get those? how did you get those? Mom bought them for me. So I told my wife, hey, do you realize what you've just done to me? You put me in a very difficult situation. I cannot make ice cream cones because I squeezed the living daylights out of them. Thank you, honey. Now my son now got this great big crocodile tears. You know, the ones that make you feel like you're low right here, and I'm thinking to myself, why is this happening to me? When will someone come and help me? And who's going to tell him that his dad can't make ice cream cones? So I thought, well, let's try this. Let's give it a try. Let's rebel. Let's see if we can make this happen. So I set myself up. I got the ice cream. I got the ice cream bucket out of the fridge. Let it sit on the kitchen counter for a little while so it was nice and soft to scoop out. I sat there and I looked at the ice cream shelf, at the ice cream cone shelf, thinking, how can I hold it here and scoop like that without squeezing the living daylights out of them? And then I got this idea. I started thinking about asking better questions. Not about being limited, but what can I do to make this day better? What can I do to make this situation better? How can I make this work? And so what I realized is my son does not have cerebral palsy. That's a real big moment in my life. So I grabbed the chair, I brought it over to the counter, I said, Quinn, climb up, stand right here. I brought ice cream cone, showing his hand, I said, hold it like this. And whatever you do, don't squeeze the living daylights out of it. And while he was holding it, I scooped ice cream, pop, pop, and we made ice cream cone together. And he was happy. We ran and sat and watched Mickey Mouse Clubhouse to the end. Lick, 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 happy little boy. He says, Dad, can I have one more? Sure, why not? Let's go for it. So we repeat the process. Only this time, he wants to make 2 of them. So we made 2 of them. I'm an easygoing guy. Made one for him, made one for me. And as he handed the ice cream cone to me, at 51 years of age, he looked at me and says, Dad, don't squeeze the living daylights out of it. And now I held this ice cream cone over the kitchen sink in case of an explosion. And the funny thing is, the ice cream cone didn't explode or shatter or fall apart. And at 51 years of age, I ate my very first ice cream cone. Because I took time to ask better questions. Well, how do I go beyond this challenge, this barrier, this obstacle? I really believe that when we teach children who are challenged, please, I want to say something that may upset some people, may make people applaud. I don't believe people are disabled. I believe people are challenged, both able and challenged people. We all have challenges. What makes us move forward and beyond those challenges are the way we think, the way we create our thoughts, the ideas we have, and the methods we use and strategies to get there. I was in Disneyland Tuesday afternoon, probably Wednesday afternoon. I was holding an ice cream cone. And whenever I think of ice cream cones, I think of the power of my son, the power of thought, the better questions. The last thing I want to talk about is false conditioning. Every one of us in this room is open to listening to somebody else's story that isn't true. I don't know anything about you, and you don't know anything about me, and we should not be judging based on what we see. We should be judging based on what we see people do. That makes sense. When I was 8 years old, my mom and dad took me to a special doctor who's supposed to have superpowers to make me able. When my mom and dad went to the office where he was, he insisted, Mom and Dad, you stay outside in the waiting room. Michael, you come with me. So I walked through these 2 doors, sat down, says, Michael, I'm going to grant you 3 wishes. What 3 wishes would you like granted? I said, wish number 1, I wish I wasn't being bullied anymore because I had a real bullying problem when I was a young boy. No one took time to understand me. Could I please have 1 friend, I asked. He says, no problem, Poof. He said, wrote it down, so but I will make sure you have friends. Done. He says, what's wish number 2? He says, I said, Doctor, wish number 2 is quite simple. I wish that you could fix my legs so I can jump and run around like everybody else. My legs were crooked. Can you make them straight? No problem. Done. Well, this is an amazing doctor. He says, what's wish number 3? I said, Doctor, very simple. Can you make my arms, my hands, and my fingers catch a football, do up buttons, hold a fork, comb my hair? Can you make these things work better? And he closed his book and said, no, I can't make them work better. That's just the way they'll be. No doctor, no surgeon, no physiotherapist will ever make them work better. That was 1970. Maybe it was right, maybe it was wrong, but I never saw him again. When I was 13 years old, I was starting high school. I was still having a bullying problem, so I spent a lot of time by myself. And so I tried to hide a lot. And one day, during the lunch hour break, I walked onto the school field, and there were these boys. They're playing football. And I'm watching these boys play football, and I realized what I wish. Oh, you're supposed to catch it. I wish I could play. But I stayed silent. And while I watched, I realized Then one team, there were 10 players, and a team of 9. I didn't say anything because I didn't want to draw attention to myself. I watched for about 5 minutes. I turned, started walking to the school, and I hear this boy go, "Hey, you!" I stopped. I turned around. "Yeah, you, come here now." I'm thinking, okay, this is really dangerous. 19 guys against 1 is not a fair fight. I'll slowly get out of here, start walking backwards, and bye, see you later. And one boy says, "Where are you going to?" To the school. I'm going to the school. He says, "Don't run away." He says, "We need you." "Why?" "We need you to play football on that team over there. They only have 9 players." "Really? Me?" "Yeah." Okay. So I slowly, cautiously walk over there. When I got over there, one of the boys says, "Hey, can you catch a football?" Shh. Don't say anything. Shh. "Can you run?" "Oh yeah, I can run." "Will you play wide receiver?" "Oh yeah, I'll play wide receiver." Wide receiver runs up and down the field and catches the ball. My hands don't catch, my arms don't catch, my fingers won't catch. It's not going to happen. Shh. I'm in the game. So in the very first play, I line up. The game starts. There's this guy in front of me. I kid you not. He looks like a boogie monster. I'm thinking to myself, "Michael, whatever you do, don't let him grab you, okay? So run as fast as you can." So I run as fast as I can. I run right past everyone. And the quarterback sees me. He says, "Hey." Oh. I thought you guys could catch. Could you get the ball for me? It's right there. It's Hardy, right? Hardy, could you throw me the ball? I lost it in the lights. Sorry about that. I should have put blood under my eyes. So who can catch? Hey, football? Huh? Right? You know what? I know who can catch. Right? Oh, bad. So let's do it this way. Bigger ball. There you are. See, we can catch. Ready? I thought I was in the land of football and happiness. I'm over here. Let me have it. Okay. No one can catch. How do you like that, doctor? So anyway, they threw me the ball. And I dropped the ball. And this one boy runs over and says, "Wow, you're amazing." I'm going, "I dropped the ball." He says, "Forget that. Can you teach me how to run?" "What? You're so amazing at the way you run. I want to know how to do it too." And before you know it, I got 5 guys asking me how to teach them how to run. I'm saying, "I can't catch. Don't worry about that. Show us how to run." "What are you talking about?" One boy says, "Put it to you this way. We all run in straight lines. You run in zigzags." well, can you teach me how to catch? No problem. And these 19 boys stopped the game. And what they did was, and she don't realize this, but what they did was this. They used the highest power of thought. They used ideas, and then they focused on the physical. And what they all did was they all imagined right here on my chest this great big bullseye. So all I have to do is run down the field and stand like this. And they're going to hit me with the ball anywhere on the chest or stomach. It was a first down. For 3 weeks, I was the best wide receiver on the planet. I'd stand there like this and they'd hit me with a football. And then one day I thought, I cannot do this anymore. It hurts too much. So I decided, next time they throw the ball at me, I'm going to do a kung fu move. Yeah! And when the ball was going, yeah! And I caught the ball. And when I caught the ball, everyone stopped. Well, amazing. How did you do that? I don't know. They threw the ball at me again. I caught the ball again. How do you do that? I don't know. And then the bell rang. And everyone went to class. I didn't go to class. I went to my locker. I opened it up. Brought my lunch out because in grade 8, I needed someone to help feed my body. I reached inside, pulled out a sandwich, and started eating it. Wow. I tried both hands. They're both working. I undid my buttons and it did not help. I ran home at 12 o'clock. I ran in the front door of my house. My mom sat at the door and says, "Why are you at school?" Forget school, Mom. I gotta show you something. Mom, could you please make me a sandwich? She said, I'll give you 2. Well, make one more. I want to show you something. And so she makes me a peanut butter sandwich. She comes at me to feed me like she always does. I grab the sandwich over her hand. Watch this. Michael, what are you doing? I'm eating a sandwich, Mom. What do you think I'm doing? How are you doing that? I don't know. What? What did you do at school? Well, Mom, what I did at school was simple. I went and played football. I became a bullseye. I did kung fu jiu-jitsu and caught the football, and my hands are working. And what I've learned from this is that we should not be conditioned by what others think. We should also be looking for alternative ways to move forward. Because I believe that we don't all fit in square box. We all have our own ways of doing things, our own unique ideas and thoughts. We need to follow those. I'm as much a person as everybody else on this earth is. I'm just a little bit different, but then so are you. The success that I have had to this very moment all goes back to one simple thing. I rebel against my mind's temptation to think negatively, to give in to limitations, and to absorb false conditioning created by other people. I really believe that we need to teach everyone to rebel in a positive fashion. The one lesson that I want to say I want to say thank you. I want to thank you to Dr. Cathleen for acknowledging me as an individual. I want to say thank you to the directors and all the members of the American Academy for Cerebral Palsy and Developmental Medicine for acknowledging the efforts that I have made in my life over the last 51 years to be here. I also want to say thank you to my wife and children. I want to say thank you to my mom and dad and all the people who've taken time to believe in me, because I am a real person. Thank you so much. I realize I made one small mistake up here. I didn't show you they could catch a football. I don't know where they went. But believe me, I can catch a football.
We believe you, Michael.